There we go. Fabulous. So welcome again. It's lovely to see you. I'm Lucy, obviously. And if you haven't already, just pop your organisation name in your Zoom name, so we can all see where you're from. That'd be really cool. I just thought I'd start with a brief introduction to the Hopefield family, kind of the history of it, where I've come from, where I'm going, because firstly, it's changed a little bit over the years. And secondly, although I've been working with some of you for lots of years, others I've only been working with maybe for a few weeks or months. So it might just be good to kind of bring everyone up to speed, including myself, because I often have to stop and think, what is it I do and why am I here and what's the purpose of it all? So I originally started off by blogging. I started a blog as a new mum of a 2-year-old and a baby. Um, that 2-year-old is now about to take his GCSEs. So that gives you an idea. You can do the maths and work out how long it was that I started my blog. It wasn't called The Hopefield Family, it was called Desert Mum. And it was really just, it was no kind of business sense to it at all. I didn't even know that you could make a business out of a blog. It was really just a hobby. And it was essentially my own accountability in my faith journey, because I loved motherhood, but it was all consuming. And I could easily see a future in which kind of I held on to my faith, but it didn't necessarily grow or get a chance to kind of flourish in that environment. And I didn't want that. So blogging was my way of kind of staying intentionally aware of like what God was doing, what he was teaching me, how I was learning and growing as a Christian, as a mum. Um, that just poodled along for several years. And then at the start of 2018, I'm cutting the story short. So various things happened to kind of make me feel like it's right to sort of more intentionally focus on writing. So I started to write books that year. I started to do some freelance work and grow the blog a little bit as well. And then in 2020, God kind of honed me in even more to just focus really on mainly on the blog. So that's when I rebranded as the Hopefield Family, got the logo and the branding that you see. And that's when my website was sort of zhuzhed up for the first time, I suppose, since kind of my very basic WordPress blog back in 2012. So from there, I started to grow my audience a bit more intentionally via mainly email and Instagram. I created digital products for that audience. I wrote more books, and that's kind of what happened for a couple of years. And that was all going fairly well. But at the end of 2022, I felt like I kind of lost a bit of direction with that. I wasn't quite sure what I was meant to be doing in this space. Nobody else seemed to be doing what I was doing, which on the one hand can be quite a good thing, but on another hand, it's hard because there's nobody really to follow or copy, and no one to sort of ask for advice. And if no one else is doing that, you think, oh, okay, is no one else doing it for a reason? Is there actually any need here? So I kind of wasn't sure where I was going with it. Just amazingly at the right time, God's provision, really. I got to do 1 and then 2 maternity covers at BRF in the Parenting for Faith team, which was a brilliant change for me. I absolutely loved it. I'd really missed working with a team. I learned a huge amount from those guys, and I got a real insight into kind of the world of Christian organisations and charities. I made lots of contacts, made lots of friends. And most importantly, really, in those couple of years, God started to give me a vision again for what the Hopefield family needed to be and what he wanted it to be, and what I could do helpfully. So at the start of 2025, I came back to the Hopefield family, and just really since then I've been building up. And the website redesign this year has been a big part of that, because the website really kind of underpins everything I do. It had been very neglected for the last few years. I hadn't really touched it since 2020. There were lots of issues. It was really slow, like crummy ads that I didn't really need. And yeah, it just needed a lot of TLC. But as I was doing that work anyway, I thought, let's actually make it into like the resource hub that I have in my head that I would love to provide for people. So that's why I've invited you here today, to have a look at this new website and just to kind of see what it offers. So I'm just going to share my screen now. Hopefully you can see the website. There it is. So it looks more professional now, because I've got actual like professionals who've helped me do this, which is great. I've got amazingly had a brilliant like web designer who's also like a business strategist and fabulous person. She's also a Christian, so she really got the Hopefield family what I was about and what I was trying to do. So if anyone is looking for anyone like her, then drop me a line. I'm happy to share her details. But as you can see, the tagline has changed slightly. It's now encouraging, equipping, and resourcing Christian parents and carers. And those 3 words are really important: encourage, equip, resource. They point to the 3 kind of main areas of what I do. So encouragement is through largely Friday night emails that I send out to my audience of Christian parents, carers, youth leaders, kids leaders, whoever is interested in children's spiritual development. I put out regular content on Instagram and Facebook to encourage mainly Christian parents and carers. And of course, I've got a blog archive of many years with lots of helpful articles that people can access at any time. The equipping, the second part of it is my book reviews and really kind of trying to equip Christian parents and carers to make informed decisions about discipling their children. So I'm never about telling people what to do because every family looks very different, but hopefully by kind of being honest about the resources out there, I can help people buy the right thing for their child or take the right approach with their child. And then the resourcing is to do with the stuff I create, so my digital products and my books. So I'm going to take you on a little tour. I want to start with the equipping because I think that's the area that's probably most relevant for you guys. So there's this tab, book reviews. And I've been reviewing books for well over a decade. And so when you scroll down, this is an infinite scroll, so I'm not going to take you forever, but you'll get to nearly 400 resources for largely for children and teens and families, but some for parents as well, that I have reviewed over the last 10 plus years. So it's a huge database of bespoke recommended resources that have actually been tested out with a Christian family. My own kids now are aged between 11 and 16, so I now have a review team of 10, and between us we cover ages from 1 to 21. So if there's anything that anyone's producing for younger kids, I'm sending it to one of my review team who actually has younger kids, so she can actually, or he or she can actually use it with their children rather than me kind of hypothetically review it. So that's not really my style. I'd rather actually try these things out with kids. Obviously, scrolling forever, no one's got time to do that. So I've got this search function on the left here. And it's really helpful, I think, when you are buying a resource for a child or teen and you want to know what's out there and what's good and what's recommended. Obviously, you can go to a retail site, but sometimes the choice can be overwhelming. You can go to a publisher's site, but you'll usually only get books by that publisher or selected other publishers. So this goes across publishers. I also feature books by independent authors and indie publishers that maybe don't have the kind of marketing budget of the bigger publishers. That's really, really important to me that I can help good quality resources get out there. So let's say, for example, that you're going to a baptism, someone's invited you to the baptism of their baby. So you want to take a gift and maybe you want to take a Bible. So you're just going to go into age range, you're going to select 0 to 4. And then under format, you see there's loads of different types of books here that you might want. And you think, actually, I just want to get them a Bible. Maybe they're not from a Christian family. Maybe you don't think that many people are going to buy them a Bible and you'd like them to have a Bible. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you think they're going to get loads of Bibles. So you're instead going to go for a Bible story or a board book or something. But for argument's sake, let's say we're going for a Bible. And when you click Bible, you get these beautiful hand-picked, like a bespoke selection of Bibles for 0s to 4s. Okay, it's a nice, small, manageable selection, but a good choice there. And if you click on one resource, so just for argument's sake, we will click on this one, which is one of my favorites at the moment, the Lion Baby Bible. You get a really nice cover image, obviously the title and the author, and you get my honest review. I love this Bible, I have to say. I've bought it for several people because it's so good. You get all the publisher info at the bottom there. You get the tags here. And then you get two, if there are 2 places to buy, you will get 2 places to buy. And these are affiliate links and they take you through to the retailer, or obviously you could just Google it and buy it from a different retailer if you want. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Amazon. I'm happy to admit that, but I will always put an Amazon link in there just because I actually resisted Amazon affiliate links for years and years because I didn't use Amazon myself and I wasn't a fan. But realistically, a lot of people have Prime. A lot of people just find Amazon really, really handy. So if the Amazon link isn't there, then people will go to Amazon anyway. So I have now got the Amazon link there. As long as there's an affiliate link, that it will be there. And then one other, which will default to Eden. But if the publisher has its own affiliate scheme, then I will link to the publisher. So if you're a publisher with a retail arm to your website and you don't yet have an affiliate scheme, then I can really recommend that you look into kind of setting one up because it'll make it a lot easier for people like me to point people directly to your website. So that's kind of what it looks like when you go into a resource. Let's have a think now about, I don't know, your 8-year-old is asking loads of big questions, say. So I'm going to take off the 0 to 4 filter, put on the 7 to 11. And I'm going to go into topic this time. Say they're asking lots of big questions, I don't know, about like evolution, science, things like that. So I'm going to click science, and there you have a nice little selection of resources which all have a sciencey theme. Okay, so I've got a mixture there. I've got a couple of sort of memoirs like Helen Roseveare and Charles Babbage, is like a graphic novel biography, I guess. And then you've got some non-fiction books as well. But I can click into any of these and see whether they're going to be suitable for my 8-year-old. So this one looks like it might be the best one because there's going to be lots of questions about God and science. So I'm sure that's going to cover evolution. It's even on the front. So there we go. And again, the review, the retail links, if I want to buy, I can go back and select the other resources if I want to have a look at a few different things. So that's there. Or maybe, I don't know, I've got like a 13-year-old and they are a total bookworm, but they I don't really know where they are faith-wise. Maybe they're not like that fussed maybe about coming to church or whatever. So I am going to search out some fiction for them because I would love them to read some faith-based fiction that maybe just has a very gentle touch, maybe something that's not like overly preachy, but something that's just kind of going to like support the values that I want to kind of raise them with, that kind of thing. And as you can see, there's loads of options here for beautiful fiction books that would be suitable for an 11 to 14-year-old. Some of them will have more faith content than others, but obviously by clicking into the review, you will discover that, you know, is it a book about a missionary, in which case faith is going to feature quite heavily, or is it a book which is really like an adventure story and there's a Christian character in there or something like that, and there's a lot of sort of lighter touch. Everything here is SEO optimized, all the images, all the reviews as well. So that means that these books should also come up on search engines. So if you are a publisher or an author, you can have a little play around with the site later and like search, because you can search here, you can type your name, or you can look under author or publisher just to see which of your books are already on here. If you've got any resources, if you're bringing out a resource that you would like people to know about, I know sometimes charities and organisations who aren't publishers will bring out a resource for kids or teens, kind of not a regular thing, but you know, every so often they might do something. And if you want that on this site, then please do get in touch. I'm always happy to review things or send them to my review team, and we'll get it up here on the website so people can find it. I think that's probably, yeah, that's probably kind of what I wanted to say about that part of the site. But obviously, you know, I think it's a helpful resource. Please do share it with those you work with. Please do share it in your churches, your families, your friends, anyone who you think might be wanting to kind of look for Christian books, wanting some recommendations. Because as I say, these are all things that have been actually tried out by me and my family mainly, and increasingly now by my review team. And so they can all be, these reviews can all be trusted. The other sections I wanted to share with you quickly are devotionals. So this is the vision that God gave me really when I was working for BRF as to kind of what I should be doing when I came back to the Hopefield family. And it was an online library of digital devotionals that kids and teens could, or their parents could buy and download and kind of have instant access to. So again, I think there's only about 15 resources on here so far, but I'm adding more each month. Again, you can refine by age. So, you know, let's have a look at the 4 to 7, for example. And you can see there's a Holy Spirit devotional that's based in Acts. There's a Jesus devotional, which is kind of like a Lent thing, but you could do it any time of the year. The Summer Family Devo I offer every year, and that's free. This one is for people starting school, kids starting school for the first time. This one is a devotional on the gospel, just goes through outlines kind of what we believe as Christians. And you'll see just from the marketing image, hopefully, the kind of format of this. The USP of my devotions, I wrote them, by the way, because I have reviewed a lot of devotionals, but actually I've found that there's not a lot of devotional material out there for children and teens to access on their own. There's a lot of family devotional material, which is wonderful and really, really helpful. We've used a lot of it. But when you're trying to kind of encourage a child or teen into like a regular Bible reading habit, there's not a lot out there. And the stuff I found was either really, really long with loads of questions and it felt like homework and it took forever and my kids were disengaged, or it was really short, but really like bitty, like you were in the Psalms one day and then you were in like Matthew, then you're in Genesis, and you were sort of popping about all over the Bible with this little like thought that verged on kind of moralistic or like almost like positive thinking sometimes, and it wasn't actually teaching kids and teens how to like read and understand the Bible for themselves and like question it for themselves and really deeply think about it. And I thought, surely you can combine those two elements. Surely you don't have to write something that's really long in order to get that depth. Um, and so this is an example. You have an A4 page and it's split into two. This is for 4s to 7s. And there's literally like one Bible verse to read. There's a little puzzle, which is different every day. No prep for the parents. You literally just need a pen. It's all there for you. Then there's like a line or two. Actually, this one probably isn't the best example because you can't really see, but I think on this one, you can probably see a little bit more. Um, if you see, sorry, it's quite small, but like down the bottom, there's literally like a sentence or two of application or explanation about what that Bible verse means. And then there's a little chat and catch prompt. So this is totally stolen from Parenting for Faith, where we can chat to God or ask him a question and learn to catch from him back. So it's really simple. It should just take like 5-10 minutes a day. And the devotionals for older children are they don't have the puzzles, but they are also short. So like this one for 7s to 11s, I've just released this. Again, it's a really short bit of text to read, slightly longer Bible, slightly longer bit to read, but not much. Little question to get them thinking. And then a little chat to God prompt at the bottom there. And then the 11s to 14s, again, gets a little bit longer because they're a bit older, but still it's like a column. It's a really kind of short, accessible, bite-sized devotional. So that's what I've got, and that's what I'm building at the moment. Sort of easy to access devotionals, and they're low price. I've been told I should charge more, but I don't want to because I want to keep them accessible for families. They're instant downloads, so you can literally be in your child's bedroom at bedtime with them thinking, I need to read the Bible with my child. How do I do that? Like, go to my website, select the age, buy something, download it, and boom, you can be reading the Bible with your child in like 5 or 10 minutes. So just trying to make things easy for families. And then the final parts of my website I just wanted to show you are the blog is here. So all my archive articles are all the useful ones anyway. And again, it's an infinite scroll. So you could go down for like months, not quite months. You could go down for a long time and find all those articles, or you could search by, well, you could type in any search term, or you can go to a particular theme like adoption. I have 2 adopted children, so I've written quite extensively about adoption and trauma and attachment and how that affects our children and how that affects faith and discipleship. So those are my articles on that. Yeah, so you can just go to what you want. And then finally, my shop is here. And in my shop is now been divided up into adults and kids books. I haven't quite worked out, that was my web designer's idea, and I haven't quite worked out whether I like it or not, but I suppose it is useful. So you've got the adult books, the books for grown-ups that I've written, and then you've got my children's books here, which consist of Busy Family Devotional, which I wrote with SPCK a few years ago, and then my Mighty Girl, Mighty God series, which I self-publish. So it's super easy. And the nice thing about this is that everything was in one place. On my old website, you could buy my books, but you couldn't buy my digital products. They were housed on another website. So with this, you can actually put books and digital products in your same basket and then just do one big checkout for everything. So hopefully it makes it super easy for people who want to buy things. As a little thank you for being here, I do have a couple of discount codes to share with you. There's absolutely no obligation to use them, but I did just want to kind of pass on a measure of goodwill. So I can give you a 20% code for the books and a 50% code for the digital products, which is good through till the end of next Thursday. So I'll pop those in the chat in a minute. But I think that's a kind of whistle-stop tour of the website. So yeah, if you've got any questions, please feel free to unmute or type them in the chat. That would be great. I'm just going to stop my share so I can see you all.